In this video, I will show you every player that you need to succeed for tonight's FanDuel Monday Night Football single game slate as the Saints, without Michael Thomas, head into the Raiders' brand new stadium in Las Vegas in 5 minutes or less. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and having simulated 12,000 different combinations of 5-man lineups, here are your locks and lotteries for week 2 of Monday Night Football. If you like this kind of fast-paced calculated content, subscribe and stay tuned for more lineups throughout the NFL season, including coverage through all of week 3, starting with a single game video for Thursday Night Football. The first lock for this lineup is at MVP position, scoring 1.5 times points, and that player is probably pretty clear-cut for most, as it's going to be Drew Brees for us as well. Brees had a weak start to the season, only accumulating 14.5 fantasy points against the Buccaneers and throwing for 160 yards. It's worth noting, though, that he threw less passes than usual, with only 30 attempts in week 1. He can reasonably be expected to throw more tonight against a weak pass defense that gave up 270 yards in the air to Teddy Bridgewater. If Brees' former backup was able to throw for that many yards against this defense, it should be a breeze for Drew Brees himself, and he should have no problem putting on a show, even without his number 1 wide receiver active. Speaking of which, the second lock for this lineup will be the player that I expect to benefit the most from Michael Thomas's absence, that being Alvin Kamara. Kamara is a very versatile back, as he's able to play well both on the ground and as a pass catcher, carrying the ball 12 times against Tampa Bay and catching 5 of 8 passes thrown his way. He was also able to score both a rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown last week. Without Thomas active for this contest, Brees will be more reliant on the only other superstar on that team, Alvin Kamara, who just got broken off for a contract extension with the Saints. Kamara has shown his ability as a receiving running back and should be expected to utilize his talent to a greater extent without New Orleans wide receiver 1 in the game. One thing I wanted to mention before getting into a limbo pick is the fact that out of the top 10 ranked lineups by projected fantasy points, all 10 of them included Brees at MVP, with the top 8 all including Kamara. So it seems like these two players especially are worth spending the extra money. For the third player in this lineup in the lone limbo pick, my model chose Derek Carr. The reason for Carr's placement as a limbo is because there is a nearly identical lineup that switches Carr out for Josh Jacobs, which I'll show later in this video. In the end, Carr was selected over Jacobs simply because my program projected him to score more points, but not by much. So if you want to take Jacobs instead or just make a duplicate entry with both, that also seems to be viable for this slate. You'll have to adjust the next player though, depending on which one you choose, that being the first lottery and the kicker for this lineup. If you went with Jacobs as your limbo pick, you'll have to take Raiders kicker Daniel Carlson, but if you picked Carr, you'll have the choice at either Carlson or Will Lutz from the Saints. Both of these kickers are relatively cheap considering their potential outcome, and this value can be seen by the drop off in fantasy points per game between the pair of kickers and the options below that price range. Finally, for the second lottery and the last flex of this lineup, my model selected Traquan Smith. The lottery designation here is mainly due to the fact that Jared Cook and Emmanuel Sanders may fully take over Thomas's role as Brees' go-to players, but Smith has historically been able to break free for that long ball play, and all we need is one of those to make up the value we need for a player priced at only $8,000. Smith will assume the wide receiver 2 role tonight, giving him even more opportunities than usual, so even if he doesn't get that one explosive play, he will still likely be a big part of the New Orleans Saints offense in order to fill the large gap left by Michael Thomas. And that's what my model was able to come up with for tonight's Monday Night Football single game slate on FanDuel. There is that alternate lineup including Jacobs instead of Carr, so feel free to choose that one if you feel more confidently that way. Personally, I'll be entering one of each. If you find these lineup builders helpful, be a friend, tell a friend. It helps more than you could imagine and grows the Quick Pick Network. Again, this has been Quick Pick Nick, the intersection for sports, data analysis, and speed. Thanks for watching.